No drug seems to be spreading faster on the streets of Los Angeles than rock cocaine. Some say it has become an epidemic because what was once the rich person's drug is now within reach of the middle class and perhaps even the poor. Tonight, investigative reporter Jim Forbes has the first part of his special report on the cocaine epidemic.
Heroin, I've shot coke, I've used all sorts of other drugs. Nothing has had an effect that this has had on me.
He was a hardcore drug user for 10 years, and he's talking about cocaine, rock cocaine. These small nuggets, each packing a chemical high so powerful, users say that when smoked, it's a drug unlike any other.
It's like having an orgasm is what it's like. It's such a good feeling. It's such a euphoric feeling.
A high so compelling that young women have been known to prostitute themselves for just $3, just to get money to buy a rock.
Some of them don't even turn it for that. They just turn it for the rock.
And a 15-minute high. A high so diluting that it eats away at the mind.
I stole from my father. More or less, he's laying on his deathbed, and I was dipping into his savings and stealing thousands at a time.
A high so demanding that it's sold on streets throughout South Central Los Angeles, where it's eroding the fabric of a proud and building community.
There is no way to build up any community with this kind of a disease in that community. This is worse than AIDS, it's worse than herpes, it's worse than all other kinds of diseases, because it's simply tearing, it's eating away, it's a cancer of the mind.
See, these people are copping right now. These people are copping dope.
This cancer is being peddled in the open, where it's not at all difficult to find. And should you be naive, innocent, or untried, pushers will find you.
There's another one standing over there, looking at him, patting his hand, think he got something. But that's them, all up and down this area.
Listen carefully for a moment. You'll hear a high-pitched whistle. That was a warning, a signal to peddlers that our car was suspicious.
If they hadn't seen that camera, that other street, those guys would have sold you rocks right there.
So we placed our camera where it wasn't seen, and for 21 continuous hours, we witnessed scores of deals, day and night.
I call them stop and cop rock houses. You can pull your car up, somebody runs out to the car, sells you rocks.
Kids, often gang kids, jiggling their wares, counting their profits, over and over again. Most of that money will go into the house, where the adults stay hidden, raking in the biggest profit while remaining insulated from arrest and a long prison term.
Jesse Jackson made a very good analogy. Where there is no hope, they turn to dope.
Chilton Alphonse grew up in South Central L.A. He's on the mayor's gang task force and tries to mediate disputes between warring factions. Alphonse is also soliciting government and corporate money, hoping to fund alternatives to dope peddling. He says the streets today are much worse than in his day.
They need guidance and they need help. And it's time to stop talking about it, as has been done in the halls of our elected officials, and put the money where the mouth is.
Well, some in the community, such as Alphonse, aren't waiting for that money. They've already begun to fight back. Within the past 2 weeks alone, preachers have taken to the streets of South Central L.A., challenging the community to break its silence. Tomorrow we'll tell you about that and other efforts to combat this growing epidemic. But still, the reality remains. Rock coke is in great demand, and the profits in dealing it are enormous.
And because you call it an epidemic, we should also understand that scenes like you shot are going on all over.
Absolutely. It's happening throughout the Southland. It is perhaps not as concentrated as in South Central L.A., perhaps not as open as in South Central, but it is happening in every community that can see us right now.